Welcome to Track Trace, where we take a closer look at the work put into making the music. It's your boy KINGB, and today I'll be taking you on a trip into Emmanuel Rose's Not Your Slave. Not Your Slave is the final track on Emmanuel Rose's mixtape titled Not For Sale, released on the 25th of May 2022. The track is produced by Love to Feel. Today, we will be focusing on the one verse of the track.
Not for sale, not your slave, not your bro, still your fave. Not for free, nigga pay, not for free, nigga pay fast.
E. Rose starts the verse off strong with a show of his character as he refers to himself. He is well aware of his worth and is not afraid to say it. In the next line, he doubles down to say that you can't influence him into going against what he stands for. He also goes on to say that whether you like him or not, he would still be your favorite rapper. The next line is repeated to accentuate the message of him knowing the level of his abilities and wanting that to be recognized. The use of the word not is repeated to emphasize on the things he will not agree to or go along with. A nice and simple rhyme scheme is used across all four lines.
Nigga pay fast forward 6 months, I'ma be hella paid. Fast forward 6 months, we gon' be hella paid, free of pain.
He continues to say that because of how much he is sought after and him knowing his worth, he would be well compensated in a short period of time, in this case 6 months. He repeats, and this time he includes the people around him, his team. He tells us that he recognizes the people he is on the journey with. A simple rhyme scheme from start to finish again.
Hella paid, free of pain, self-work. This ain't even my best work, nigga, this just my test work. Just making sure my pen work, rumble man.
In the first line, he mentions how one can free themselves of pain by working on themselves. I also interpret it as free your pain. Both work in this case. He goes on the next 3 lines to say that a track like this is just him giving a sort of taste test of his abilities as an artist. He compares it to just checking if his pen works. The use of the word work shows that this is something he takes serious. The craft is not just a hobby. It also serves as a constant rhyme scheme across all 4 lines.
My pen work, rumble man, 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 rumble land, not for sale.
He speaks on what he is, and its repetition shows how proud he is of it, and he's sharing that with the world. Again, this goes back to him knowing himself and not being afraid to say it. All 4 lines rhyme.
Rumble land, not for sale, not your slave, nigga, my mama fought for that. Same way I'ma fight for this. I know where my heart is at, still don't know where.
He reiterates the first line for emphasis. He goes on to mention the role his mother had in making sure he understood the message from the first line. He uses the word fought to further emphasize how serious he takes those words. In the third line, he continues to state that he will fight for what's important to him, and with the connection to the previous line, we can imagine his mother being a source of inspiration for that. A solid statement is made in the last line. He cannot be easily swayed by things he does not believe in. The flow carries these 4 lines with a single rhyme scheme.
I know where my heart is at, still don't know where forfeit at. If it ain't the best, send it back, I ain't order that.
The flow carries over from the previous lines. The first line is him saying that he is not one to give up and that he has been that way since way before. The next 2 lines can be taken as him showing that he prefers the best of things. He does not deal with mediocre. Those same 2 lines can also be taken as him talking to himself. He will only accept the work that he feels is his best, and anything less would be disregarded. The rhyme at the end of the first line carries from the previous set of lines, and it continues until the end.
Order that. Listen man, I know that you hurting, man. I know that you hurting, ma'am. Too much on my shoulders right now, but I can hold your hand. It's okay to sit down for a moment when it's hard to stand. Cry a little, cry, look, he was down.
I struggled with the first 3 lines for a bit, but I think one of the ways it can be interpreted is as a calling. It could be a dream, a goal, or a purpose. One you know deep down is meant for you, but you choose to silence it for one reason or another. Emmanuel is basically telling you to listen to that calling and chase after it. He continues to convey his ability to offer a helping hand even though he has his own weight to carry. He shares a message of giving yourself a break when things get too hard. that you should not forget about yourself in your struggles. He also says that it's okay to show emotion. A nice rhyme scheme carries across the majority of the lines.
Cry, look, he was down, Eve rose, she rose, he rose. Even though we stayed down, we could never stay down. Even though we stayed down, we could never stay down. Evil out the way now, praise to the Most High. Even in my...
The last word from the last line of the previous set is used to set up the next set of lines. The first line is him sharing examples of people rising after being down. I like the way he chooses to mention the way he himself rose, as it is a play on his name as well. He puts himself in the third person, knowing how well he could pull that line off. A very well crafted line. The next two lines are reiterated to allude to never giving up. The moments at the bottom never last. He gives praise in the last line for ridding the evil that was present on his path. There was a lot of juxtaposition used in these four lines, and that gives a sense of how important the different positions are in contrast. The flow carries these four lines.
The Most High, even in my good times, praise to the Most High. Even when the doves cry, praise to the Most High. Not alone, call a friend, love your girl, love your man, hug it out, make amends, only love. If I made...
He carries the last message from the previous set of lines over to these, with him mentioning that he gives praise not only when the times are tough, but during the good times as well. The doves crying could be used to symbolize the passing of someone or something very precious, but even then, praise is given. Towards the end, he shares positive messages. Firstly, that you are not alone, that you can reach out to someone. Love your person. Don't let things that can be fixed get in the way of the love you share. He stresses on the importance of love. Again, the flow carries over across all the lines.
If I made a mistake, it's me owning up.
The last line of the song is set up in a way to show that this is not the end, as it is said on the first bar of the beat. He will continue to work on himself and his art. It plays well with the theme of the song. My take on the track overall is that it serves as a glance into who Emmanuel Rose is. He tells us who he is, what he stands for, and what he holds dear. He shares and reiterates the message of knowing himself, his worth, and his willingness to stand his ground. He is not afraid to show that side of himself either. I like his choice of beat and the flow he uses on the track. They meld well to create a song that is very digestible both in message and in sound. That's all for today. Let me know your thoughts on the track in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and click on the bell icon to turn on post notifications. KINGB signing off. King.
Being the victim of the last P, pomposity.